Today, we're embarking on a journey down south, crossing international borders and going on a long-awaited adventure in the Koocanusa area. This multi-day adventure will lead us through a series of immensely dusty trails, unveiling the full spectrum of what this area has in store. From pristine beaches to trails perched high above the water's edge, we're exploring it all. And, of course, we're on a quest to discover an epic campsite for the night. Just how epic is this campsite? Well, you're going to have to stay tuned to find out. What is up, and welcome back to another adventure, guys. Today we are in not only a different province, well, not even a different province, we're in a different country. We are in Montana, well, with the Subaru Forester. Today we're going to be doing some epic adventuring along this kind of like foresty area, as well as checking out some cool little beach spots and spending the day and the night we'll be camping, doing a little bit of overlanding here in Montana. As I said in the last video, I want to get out and do some more adventuring, and well, this is it. Today we'll be checking out, as I said, Montana. So we're kind of in the Koocanusa area, and that's what we'll be checking out today. As I said, we have some trails to explore, because as you guys probably have seen, I've never done a video in this area. I've done some photos, and that was when the car was stock, but now with it built up a little bit more, I want to kind of check out the areas because there's lots and lots of trails around here, and well, as ones that go to the beach as well, I want to see how it works. So let's go ahead and hit the trail. Already off the main road, we delve deeper into the trails, getting our first taste of what the next 36 hours had in it: dust, and plenty of it. Out here, these trails were a far cry from our usual terrain back home. The rocky trails were swapped for dusty paths that led us through a maze of trees, each turn revealing yet another campsite. Nonetheless, our curiosity urged us deeper into the area to see what we could find. And while there was some enjoyable sections, they posed no challenge for the Forester, allowing us to explore the forest that perched above the Lake Koocanusa inlets, a terrain unlike anything we were accustomed to. We continued our exploration, campsite after campsite, until we reached a point where trailers could venture no farther, leaving us in the company of only SUVs and trucks. But it wasn't long before we descended to the water's edge, guiding our way through the trees and discovering a surprisingly vacant riverside campsite. And well, we reached the dead end. So this is the end of the tracks for this campground. I want to say it's pretty much all campers as you guys have seen, kind of throughout the trees, along the river, along the Koocanusa. They're trying to just like camp anywhere they can, and there's a lot of campers. This is relatively easy access too, so we've seen a lot of cars, a lot of Subarus, as well as a fair amount of trucks. We've seen a Tacoma, we've seen a lot of campers, so there's a little bit of everything here. But I thought before we go ahead and make our way to the other side of the Koocanusa, I thought we might as well stop at this dead end here, right by the river, and have a little bit to eat. And then from here we'll have something to eat, go ahead, hit the highway and kind of do a big loop, and then end up on the other side of the Koocanusa and check out some more areas. It's a lot different to this. This is more like foresty, tree, and over there it's more sandy and kind of like not high alpine, but it's very limited trees, and well, of course, a beach. So yeah, let's go ahead and have some lunch. So, as the calming river flowed alongside us, we took a relaxing break to prepare some lunch, savoring both our meal and the soothing flow of the water. And with lunch behind us, we packed up and bid farewell to the forest and the riverside campsite, and eventually made our way back onto the road. Here, our route led us around the inlet through the extensive grasslands before quickly getting ourselves back onto our next trail and into the towering forests once again. And well, we're back off the road and onto the trails once again, as you can probably see. This time, you can see we're in a little bit different of an area. We're in like sand, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna probably have to air down the tires a little bit more. I was running 20 PSI on the trail, but as we get into this super sandy stuff, I think it's probably better for me to run a lower PSI because, well, might as well put those beadlocks to use. But allegedly, this trail system will take us all the way where I want to camp tonight. I don't know about that. The paper map says that, but I'm not 100% sure because looking at my Gala maps, it looks different. So I'm not 100% sure. As I said, I'll kind of figure it out as we go, but I'm gonna just kind of drive around and explore this area. As I said, there's a beach I want to get down to. It is kind of down this way. According to this, I'm not even on a trail right now, so I'm just following the trail map I found up front, as well as my map when I can see it. Because of the fire restrictions, we do have to stay on the trail, like any of this sandy stuff is considered on the trail. So we do have to stay on here, which, I mean, I'm totally fine with. I'm used to that anyways in Alberta. We can't really do any off-road driving anyways. But I'm just gonna check out this area and then we'll probably make it down to the beach. I might go for a swim because it's really toasty out, and then we're gonna eventually make it to where we're going camping. But as you can see, this looks as a little fun area right here. It's sand, which I don't get to play in a lot, so we'll have some fun.
As we ventured deeper into the off-road area, the true extent of the dust we stirred up became evident, leaving a colossal trail of the fine dust in our wake. With plenty of daylight remaining, we embarked on trail after trail, looking for an adventure. And as we navigated our way through the sandy trails, we set our sights on the beach. However, our plans shifted as we stumbled upon a promising trail that appeared to lead to an outcrop that overlooked the lake. So instead of descending, we ascended. Here, the terrain switched back and forth between sandy and dirt-like surfaces, with the Forester effortlessly handling both. And after an easy climb, we finally reached the clearing at the top of the sandy hills that surrounded the lake, offering views to almost the lake's end on one side and extending right into Canada on the other. And after what only felt like a few minutes up here exploring, we decided it was finally time to descend and make our way towards the beach.
And well, there you go. We officially made it down to the beach just in time for it to turn from partially cloudy to, well, fully cloudy. But as you can see, this beach is really, really busy. There's a bunch of Albertans because, well, you'll see later, we are really close to Alberta. So most of these cars have Alberta plates, which is pretty funny considering we're in the United States. But what we'll be doing is I'm just going to go ahead, go for a swim over there, kind of go up the hill a little bit, and then we'll probably continue moving on because this is definitely one place I don't want to stay the night. Because as you can see, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 boats down here and 3 vehicles. All pickup trucks. I'm the only Subaru, so that's pretty cool. But anyways, let's go ahead, explore, go for a swim, and then hit the road again.
Here in Montana, the beaches boast an incredibly sandy shore surrounded by some epic dunes that are just calling for us to climb. And although the ascent is a bit challenging, the effort is rewarded with yet another breathtaking view of the lake below. And despite the sunlight, it was still quite warm, making it perfect for a refreshing swim in the surprisingly temperate waters. And as we jumped into the lake, it became evident that the water was not crystal clear due to the sandy bottoms. But yet, it was still a great way to cool off before we got back onto the trail.
And well, after a quick swim and a little bit of sunshine and then a little bit of rain, we are back on the dusty trail making our way. As I said, I think there's a trail that supposedly will take us all the way to where I want to camp tonight. I don't see it on my trail map, but it did appear on their map of the area that they have posted. So I'm gonna go ahead and try it. If not, we can always turn around and get to, there's another little access road, and get in through there. So that is kind of the plan. As I said, we went for a little swim. It was not as warm as I was expecting. The air isn't as hot as it usually is down here. It's a little bit stormy today, so that's where we're kind of going with. But surprisingly, there was only one group of people camping there. They had a couple tents. I think just people rather camp in the trees where they're off the water a little bit, because it is a little busy, as you guys saw. But yeah, that's the plan. We're gonna continue on this trail now, trying to make our way through this kind of, they have it, it's a OHV, so off-highway vehicle area for people to kind of explore and whatever. So that's why there's people camped literally everywhere in here. And well, we're gonna use it to its full potential and check out what it has. Ooh, that was a little rough.
Climbing out of the beach, we hit our hardest obstacle yet, which still didn't even cause the Forester to break a sweat. Unfazed, we press forwards to our next destination and hopefully our campsite for the night, another beautiful beach. But, as you know, I prefer the road less traveled, so, true to form, we took the longer, more scenic route. And much like the trails before it, this path led us right through the dusty forest. But this time, it had something a little bit extra to offer, connecting us with a trail that hugged the ridge along the water, treating us with yet another epic view of the lake below. But just as swiftly as the view came, it disappeared as we moved back into the forest, where we encountered our fair share of ups and downs, literally, as we crossed through the small valleys leading to the lake and climbed onto the other side. All well aiming for the lake, or rather the ridge that ran beside it. And I know I've mentioned it a few times today, but as we neared the lake, we traversed some of the most breathtaking terrain we've encountered on this journey. Mere meters from a precarious 100-foot drop, we drove along the sandy ridge, looking across the lake before re-entering the forest for one last time. And as we approached the end of the trail, we finally emerged from the forest and descended towards the water, hopeful that we'd find our home for the night. And upon reaching the beach, we were greeted by solitude with not a soul in sight, but plenty of spots to camp.
And well, we made it to the spot I wanted to get to tonight. We were able to make it all the way from essentially that little bay that we hung out in and went swimming, all the way along the edge of the lake to this wonderful epic spot. So this was where I was planning to make it, and we just happened to be able to make it here. As I said, it's pretty far off, so I don't think anyone's going to take their trailer here, and I don't think anyone is going to pull even a small off-road camper out here because it's quite the distance. But we made it, and somehow the sun decided to start shining once again. It is actually dinner time. We made it earlier than we usually make it to camp, where we're making it at like 9, 10 and having lunch just before the sun sets. We got a little bit of time before the sun sets, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go ahead and put out the awning because, well, the sun is that way, so we'll put out the awning to get a little bit of shade and put up the tent and start cooking a meal. I also noticed these posts right here. I think I might throw my hammock on there and see how well that goes, but anyways, we should probably cook something to eat, but I just want to show you this epic campsite. So let's go ahead and get ready for the night.
As the sun began the descent in the sky, we started on setting up camp for the night. First, we unfolded the rooftop tent, followed by extending the awning to provide some shade. Lastly, we hung up the hammock which offered us a brief moment of relaxation before we prepared dinner and witnessed the sun gracefully setting behind the mountains.
And there we go, we actually got a sunset. I've been here all week and that's the first sunset I've seen. And it was a pretty good one. It wasn't perfect, but I can't complain. It was really nice sitting here, having some food and watching the sun go down. That's why I kind of took some time off, and obviously when we're not moving, there's not as much to film, so I relaxed a little. As you guys saw, I put the hammock out on the water and enjoyed that for a little bit before there was a guy with a side-by-side that came down the trail, checked out the sunset and then left, and then other than that, it's been pretty quiet. But I am so happy we've finally been able to make it to this spot. After coming to Montana for so many years and just seeing it year after year, I'm like, pretty sure I can get my car down here. We finally got here, and I'm happy to say that it won't be the last time. I really like this spot. It's super peaceful. I do hear some people way off in the distance, hear some boats, but it's really started to calm down quite a bit, which is nice. There is a meteor shower tonight. I'm not going to try to get it because I haven't seen any in this last couple days, so I'm not going to try to stay up, but I am going to try to get up during sunrise. It is a little bit later than our Revy trip where we were at 5:05 a.m. or even 4 a.m. This is at 6:30, so that's why I'm going to bed a little bit earlier. Also, all day in the sun tires you out pretty quickly. But if you don't know the rooftop tent, make sure you're checking out some of those older videos because I've gone through this, especially in the winter, how I set this up in the winter with all the gear and stuff, and the diesel heater. In the summer, it's a little bit more laid back. I'm going to be sleeping with the window open today because, well, it's just so nice and it's not cool. I think this is the first trip where I haven't had to wear my flannel in the tent because we are in a warmer area. So I'm going to sleep with the window open, get some nice breeze, and see you guys in the morning. I was going to do this, I was thinking about doing this in 2 days, but tomorrow we'll do a little bit less of off-roading and overlanding. We're going to kind of make our way back through the trees, and then we're eventually going to hit the highway and head home. But we'll be up a little bit earlier. So what I want to do is I want to go check out this area around here, and we're actually going to paddleboard for a little bit before we hit the road. So look out for that in a second. And good morning and welcome back to our beautiful spot here in the Koocanusa. We still don't have sun yet, but it's on the other side of the bay, which means it's a perfect time to go ahead, have a little breakfast, and then go paddleboarding out here in the bay. It's still pretty quiet because no one's on the lake yet, but it means that we can kind of enjoy this bay all to ourselves without any boats. It's still a little chilly because, well, I'm wearing my fleece because this sand here, when it's a little bit wet from the spray or whatever over the day, it kind of absorbs it, and then at night it gets really cold. And actually, just before sunrise, I did try to catch the sunrise, got up at sunrise. There was just a little bit of pink in the sky, nothing too special, so I went back to sleep and then I woke up and now that's where we are now. So didn't really catch anything there, but it was nice just to kind of see it and catch the lake before it got windy again. It's windy, it always seems to be windy here, so whatever. It's not going to affect us because we're not doing any water sports, but we might as well kind of enjoy it while we can. And yeah, I'll have a little bit of breakfast. The paddleboard's already inflated. I kind of used that to warm up this morning because, as I said, a little bit chilly on the sand as the lowest temperature is just before sunset, and well, I was up just before sunset, so it's a good thing I had my 0-degree sleeping bag because I would guess it probably got to around 10 before the sun peaked up and started warming this place up. So yeah, let's go ahead, have something to eat, and then jump on the paddleboard.
Hopping onto our paddleboards, we paddled along the shoreline and ventured deeper into the bay, reaching places the trails couldn't access. As we ventured farther into the bay, the waters grew smoother and clearer, revealing trees beneath us. Continuing on the journey, we are drawn to the sound of what seemed like a waterfall. And upon turning the corner, we discovered the source, which also marked the end of the trail. But our adventure was far from complete as we paddled along the opposite shoreline, passing one sandy beach after another, and eventually crossing the bay back to camp. And after an hour of paddling, it was time to cool off once again. So, for the second time in the last 24 hours, we took a refreshing swim in Lake Koocanusa.
And well, after a little bit of exercise and a nice swim, it's about time to go ahead and pack up and hit the trails. So let's go ahead, get everything packed up like that. There we go. We are officially all packed up and heading off the beach and towards the asphalt. We still have a little bit of driving through the trails and stuff to enjoy before we hit the asphalt. So let's go ahead and do that.
Returning to the trail, we ascended up the sandy embankment, aiming for the main trail that would eventually guide us back to the asphalt. And once rejoining with the trail, a cloud of dust billowed behind us as we made quick work of the forest, bidding farewell to the lake. Now on a different trail than the night before, we drew closer to the asphalt, but not before experiencing the rugged road that signaled our exit out of this area. And before we realized it, we found ourselves back amidst civilization.
And well, there you have it. We are back on the paved road after 2 days of exploring the backcountry of Montana. And that is exactly what I was expecting it to be. It's very dry and dusty here, but it's so worth it. You find some really, really amazing spots out by the lake as well as just inland along the rivers. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. This was a lot of fun and a really cool journey. As I said, I've wanted to do it for such a long time, and it definitely won't be the last time. We're definitely gonna have to come down here. That lake actually is really, really low in the spring. I would like to go do some off-roading down there and see what it's like. So maybe look out for that video and look out for all the adventures coming up. As I said, we are still, I know this video is going to be out a little bit later than when I recorded it. That's just what happens. We're going on so many adventures. But make sure you're staying up to date with Flat 4 Off-Road, all of our merchandise, Schrader Labs Instagram, as well as everything on the channel. So that's going to be it for today. So as I said, I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, and I'll see you guys in the next adventure, or maybe with the SCI. But until then, peace out and stay humble.